Gridlife Rush Series and Gridlife's 2025 season are underway. And down to turn one, we're going to be 3 wide immediately midfield there, but Vogel gets out clear for the top spot. It's Bratz and Leach side by side. They're 3 wide for second for a moment. Here comes the 51 of Gage Hughes. Up to the inside of the 33 of Ethan Alexander, but Bratz powers through to second place. There's grip on the inside. Now he slots into second.
Andy's done a great job of getting out ahead, getting out of the mess, not having to battle it out with anybody, and that gives you clear advantage. We've got 2 cars here that have just spun. Looks like no contact or anything from what I can tell.
Yep, AJ Campo in the pink car that's to 227. And didn't get a great look at the number board on the side of the blue car. We'll see it here as it turns 129 Alex Ziegenfuss. They started with AJ Campo right behind, so maybe there was a little contact here. Here's a look at a replay. Top right of your screen. Was there he just slipped, and I think they're both going to happen separately here.
Just a spin, and that might have been a little bit of contact.
Didn't catch the number on that other car, but great look at the replay. Those 2 cars tangling in separate incidents, but I think they're hopefully both back rolling, and they are, so that's great news, and we'll stay. Actually, that's a different car. That's the 22 of Jeremy Boysen. So 2 of those pink cars on course.
Yeah, there's 2 of those cars look exactly the same.
Yep, so hopefully we'll keep them all clean and green from here on out. But Vogel got a nice getaway, nice clean start up at the front.
Absolutely. And we got to remember, these are motorcycle powertrains in these vehicles, which means no reverse. So if you spin, you end up in an odd situation. You may be limited on options.
In the background, you see Andy Vogel leading the way there. There he is in the number 34. Then behind, it's Nico Bratz in that red number 7. And then Ryan Leach in the 56, who started on the outside of the front row, and Ethan Alexander in that blue 33. And I saw the 33 and the 7 paddock together. I'm not sure if they're teammates, but I'd anticipate with the vinyl being similar.
And with those Hoosier wets having the big white Hoosier logo on the side of the tire, it's clear who has it and who doesn't. And so far, everyone at the top of the pack is running those Hoosier rain tires.
Yeah, and it looks, again, certain sections of this racetrack, like right here, I really want that wet. The backstretch is dry, but you're also going straight, not putting a lot of load on the tire there, so it might be okay for a relatively short race here. But gaps now coming across the board as we kind of see how things will filter out the first time through. Jeremy Boysen up to 11th place. He started in 17th, so +6 for Boysen in the opening lap. A little bit of side-by-side here, deeper in the field. That was the 17 that was involved in an opening collision. John Howie in the iridescent car. It looks like an oil slick vinyl.
It really does.
But I don't see any damage on that car despite the little bit of contact that they did have, so got away with it. Looking up the road here, how things have progressed at the pointy end of the field. Vogel still leads over Bratz into turn 10. Just trying to see if the brake lights are coming on here, if they're still flat out despite the wet on that end of the racetrack.
I spoke with Andy after his last after qualifying.
Oh no, sorry, that was I thought that pickup truck in the distance was one of our competitors. That's good news.
That's good. Quick on the flags there. You saw a little bobble, and he was able to get out of the way, and it was nice and clear track there.
So looking down the order a little bit, but here come our leaders again, up out of turn number 14 and across the stripe here. And see if that gap is increasing. It looks like it's visually gone up a little bit for Bratz in the number 7. And we'll see, there was 1 point, yeah, it's 2.1 now that time through. So Vogel establishing a lead and running away with it. And it's interesting to see if Ryan Leach can parlay a little bit higher up the order, because he was a dominant force last season, a bunch. Look at the 51 jumping the curves.
Wow, that's brave in this weather. The curbs themselves have paint on them, and that's not the same as the asphalt, especially in the rain. So there's a lot less grip there, and it is a risk to put your tires on there. Now the unloaded tire is going to be a little less affected than the outside tire in a turn, but still a risk, and it's a good way to test how slick it really is out there.
There's that 17, John Howie up alongside. I think that would be, is that Campo or the 22 of Boysen? It's got to be Campo, I'd imagine, unless he's pulled off course. Campo is in the pit lane, so that is the 22 of Boysen. I wonder if maybe that contact had, going off track, had cut a tire of some sort, but where did Boysen land? So Boysen went up to 11th and then back to 13th. So he went up and then down a little bit. And here comes the 53. And Boysen given a point by there to the 53. That's Evan Shanks in his first ever competitive race in the Gridlife Rush Series. Moving up the order there. Started in 16th place. And I think for a guy like Shanks, it's just gathering experience, right?
Absolutely. So Evan's been out of it for a while. Like, he's always loved motorsports, and due to different issues, he's not been able to be in it as much as he wants. And then he, switched life stages with a family, and he really wanted to get back in, and this was his opportunity. A seat opened up, decided to jump in with both feet, and he's really doing something with it. He's having a blast.
And this is totally different than what he's used to, because he has a lot of background in drifting, and it's quite a good drifter on his own right. But kind of following the footsteps, of some others. We mentioned Nate Hamilton and TJ Hunt that have also kind of come from the world of drifting. On Hamilton's side, more the FD sort of thing, but TJ certainly has been competitive in some grassroots racing or drifting in California. So very similar stories there. When these drifters have really embraced this kind of driving, which this is more akin to driving a prototype than it is a GT car as far as the style.
It is, but I will tell you this. If I want to have a background that's going to suit me well in rain racing,
yep.
I think that would be drifting, right?
You would think. And TJ Hunt down in 18th place, so he's gone a little bit backwards from where he started in 14th. Evan Shanks moving up the order just a touch. 2.3 seconds the gap between the race leaders at the moment. Whoa, big slip and slide. One of the cars has gone around. That's exiting, I think this is turn 12 area here. And that's going to drop them down the order a little ways. They'll get back rolling. The grass also gets very slick.
It does. That's another thing. Like we talked about with the paint, it gets incredibly slick. The grass also turns into basically ice. You can have a little bit of tire off in the grass. Doesn't affect you much in the dry, but it's a very different game in the wet.
Yeah, certainly. And there's the 188 as well. It's joined us this season. I think there was a number change on the side of that car. We didn't actually see it out in qualifying, so he just kind of jumped in late in the going. There's the 12. Brett DiGiacomo started this race in 8th, and it's gone down a little ways as well. So Vogel completes the 4th lap of the race, 2.7 now back to Bratz. Look at Ryan Leach, though. That 56 car just ran the best lap of the race. So will he start knocking down the times in that 56 and claw his way back up to Bratz and Vogel in the closing stages of this event? It's very possible. I don't see a white flag, so we still got a couple. I would anticipate this race being a touch shorter. That's why I'm looking at the flag stand with 7 minutes to go and thinking we might get one.
Absolutely.
But not that time. Nate Hamilton up to 7th place. And he started, where did he start? P6, so he's also down 1. There he is in the 144 right there.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of confidence in that car. He seems to be very comfortable with the conditions, whatever they may be, because I saw a lot of loaded up car right there.
Yeah, Ryan Leach was just getting by Nico Bratz right behind Andy Vogel. So Vogel's going to go around some lap traffic, and just behind this, the battle for second is on. Bratz and Leach, remember, there's Leach right behind Bratz. That's a battle for second place. We noted that Leach had run the fastest lap of the race, and he's all over the tailpipes of the 7.
These cars are so small. Doing something like doing a pass through the kink seems impossible in a full-bodied car. Whoa, there's a big bobble through 14. Very last turn of the track. You got to be careful through there. You can throw away your entire lap right on that last turn.
Yeah, there's 77 of Sander. Oh, spin out of the final corner, Boysen. And remember, the leaders are coming up to this mix. Vogel will be right behind this, so there'll be a yellow into 14. No passing here in that zone.
That's the perfect example. That's the kind of turn you want to go in slow and then accelerate out through there. If you try to overcook it, you pay the price. And that could have been a great lap, and it's thrown away with that spin.
Yeah, didn't even get to the rumbles, just tracked out and just lost the rear. Did a good job locking it down and keeping it from spinning around further, but see if he'll get back rolling. And look at Ryan Leach up to 2nd place. And look at the gap. He gained a full second on Vogel from his position in 3rd last time around. And there's enough time left in this race that I could foresee Leach catching Vogel by the end of this thing.
Yeah, it's a very different mentality to be in the front of the field versus having somebody to chase. When you've got somebody to chase, you just try to match to their pace, and then you can kind of lose that. You get into a different psychology when you're out front.
Battle's a little bit deeper in the field here as well. But see what Leach can do next time by, because I don't think he's going to get 4 more laps. He might get 3. And with 3 laps at a second gain to lap, he will pass and defeat Vogel by a full second. So he's really on it at the moment.
When he starts filling those mirrors, that's when things could get into another slide through there. That's a risky move. We just saw the price that you can pay for overcooking it through that last turn.
Yeah, that's I think that's Evan Shanks in the 53 chasing Larry Brady. That's for 6th place. There's Brady in the 59. And Evan Shanks right behind him. And Shanks getting more and more comfortable with sliding this car around, nibbling the curb there at turn 2.
Again, that comfort probably coming straight from the drifting world, right? He knows what a car is like in slipping. He knows how to recover from it, and he's not spinning the car. He's keeping it together.
Yeah, and that's the other thing to consider, too. With pretty stiffly sprung suspension, the car's relatively lightweight, leans on some downforce. You know, if it gets too far away from you, it's going to be hard to catch. This is your battle for the lead, though. Here's Volkel leading Leach, but not by much. Maybe 5-6 car lengths here. When they come up to the main flag stand, white flag, 1 lap to go. This time by, I think, yeah, it is, last lap. So 1 to go, and Volkel has Leach all over him here. 0.8 of a second. There's the gap between the lead 2.
Wow, it is so neck and neck. It seemed like Volkel had this clear lead for a while, and then it looks like we've got another battle going on just a little bit deeper in the field. Lots of passing here.
Yeah, battling everywhere. There's the 51. Some other battles on the racetrack, but the lead battle is tight, headed up to turns 5 and 6 right now. Leach was 0.8 back. That was a 1.4 second gain last time by, I think, something like that.
And again, I see the sun out the whole time, but I'm seeing these outside lines being really quick. I don't know if this is a difference in tire or maybe just being on the correct line.
Yeah, a little side-by-side through the kink. That was dicey. But where is your race leader, Andy Volkel, in that number 34? Ryan Leach just behind. And I'll bet you that that 56 is all over Volkel with just a couple of corners left to go. The rest of the field picking up the white flag. This time by. And there's the car. Is it stop? Oh, the braking zone was a little longer than I expected. Looked like he was going to stop there. But let's see where the leaders have ended up. There's Evan Shanks again in the 53. And there's the swap. So Leach has already gotten by Volkel on the backside of the course. So heading down to what we presume to be the final corner now. Unless that white it's being displayed as a standing white, so maybe we won't get a checker this time, but let's see. No, it will be. Coming to the checkers, Ryan Leach in the last lap goes from 3rd to 1st in the final 2 and will pick up the checkered flag and defeat Andy Volkel with maybe 5 corners left.
Wow, that is wild. He just absolutely found the pace, worked his way up there, and capitalized on it, and it just happened to pay off.
Yeah, we certainly expected Leach to be good, and we knew it was coming, but I didn't think he ran him down from 3 seconds back in 3.5 laps. That is really wild. Impressive.
Great progress there.
And for Volkel, just got his pocket picked right at the end there, unfortunately. But Nico Bratz will come home with a solid podium. Ethan Alexander in 4th place, and Hughes in the 51 in position number 5. Nate Hamilton, 6th place. Brady, Hunt, Shanks, and Anderson. That's a great trio there. Hunt, Shanks, and Anderson all in the top 10. They'll be stoked about that.
Absolutely.
At the conclusion here of race number 1. So Gridlife Rush Series giving us something to chew on here. We've got 3 more of these races here this weekend, and certainly Leach, Volkel, and Bratz are going to give us more of what we just got a taste of there.
The field may have spread out a bit by the end of this race, but there's battles going on all over the place. So unfortunately, we can only show you one thing at a time.
Yeah, I think the other challenge with the conditions is like how close of a race can you have when everyone's on different tires and the conditions are changing so much. But just looking at how much come and go there was is what I call
Absolutely.
that when you go up and down the order so much. Evan Shanks, TJ Hunt, Grant Anderson all the way up into 8th, 9th, and 10th. And a couple drivers, Zegan Foose, Campo down a couple of laps. So just a lot of shifting and shuffling. James French from 25th to 15th in the time that he had after getting disqualified out of qualifying. A lot of qual there.
And I'm really glad to see Andy Lee out there. He ended up in 16th there. He did not have wets. And he told me before that he would not go out if it rained. He just didn't want to put that at risk. Looked like he just summoned the courage, decided it was worth the risk. He wanted to get out there. He wanted to compete. So awesome to see him put down a solid position.
Certainly. So with the field coming back around for their cool down laps now. Let's look at Grant Anderson in the 133. New livery on his car this season. Inside the top 10. I don't know if that's his first top 10 ever, but he'll be proud of that, I think. And TJ and Evan and Grant, I think, are going to have a great time in the paddock talking about that one. But
for sure.
Especially Evan chasing down Brady in the 59, but then TJ Hunt like slid between them right at the end there. So TJ got up in the mix.
And
had some fun
got
with
such a humble approach to this. He just wants to get out there. He just wants to be here. He just wants to have fun. But to already put something down in the top 10 on this size of a field, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by all three of those drivers in particular. Of course, Nate Hamilton we've seen in the past. Think back to Lime Rock Park where he and Chris Forsberg were going at it. It was an absolute blast to watch those drivers completely throw it down at a place like Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut. But with cars off track, pretty exciting thriller. There are a couple of spins and slides there, but no major contact, which is great to see, especially with the conditions so tricky.
Absolutely, yeah. You're going to, especially any kind of wet conditions, you're going to see spins, you're going to see people losing control of the car, but it really takes a lot of concerted effort to make sure you don't make that a collision.
Well, let's have a look at some of the highlights here from Gridlife's first Rush Series race of the weekend. Even on the pace laps, things were slick. Drivers slipping and sliding around behind the pace car. And on the initial start, a spin and a slide from a couple of different cars sort of getting collected in the aftermath there. One of those was the 227 car of AJ Campo. Instagrant getting up to speed here. Big slides from the 51 of Gage Hughes in pursuit of the top 5. Then it was the 256. We saw this car spun out a little bit later in the race, right here, in fact, right out of turn 14. Got back rolling, back underway after that little slip and slide. Here's Evan Shanks. Actually, that was Nate Hamilton chasing down Jalen Batley, I believe.
That was such a clean turn. Really nice slip there.
And run up to the kink. Little side-by-side action here. A little battle of the bravest. Jeremy Boysen went around for a spin about halfway through the race. Somebody else did as well. But there was the checkered, and it was on the last lap that Ryan Leach stole it from Andy Vogel after Vogel had led since the drop of the green flag.